Chicago, 2011. A cop is murdered. Police and prosecutors swear they have the trigger man. He swears he didn't do it. How far will each side go to prove they're right?
Like it's just one bombshell after another, where you're like, what?
The story of a PlayStation, a brain-eating amoeba, and the relentless pursuit of justice. Off Duty, out now. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
This message comes from Jackson. Taxes aren't something you can only think about once a year. With investments, planning for tax day is year-round. Fortunately, Jackson offers tax-efficient products. Visit jackson.com for more information on how our products can make your tax bill a little bit less painful. Jackson is short for Jackson Financial Incorporated, Jackson National Life Insurance Company, Lansing, Michigan, and Jackson National Life Insurance Company of New York, Purchase, New York.
Howdy, howdy, ho, and welcome to Fantasy Fan Fellas. I'm Hayden, producer of the Fantasy Fangirls podcast and your resident lover of all things Sanderson.
And I'm Steven, your bookish internet goofball, but you can call me the Smash Daddy.
And we are currently deep diving Brandon Sanderson's fantasy epic, Mistborn. But here's the catch. Steven here has not read Mistborn before.
That's right, hey. So each week, you'll get my unfiltered, raw reactions to every single chapter.
And along the way, we'll do character deep dives, magic explainers, and Steven will even try to guess what's next. Spoiler alert, he'll be wrong.
Newsflash, I'm never wrong. Episodes come out every Wednesday, and you can find Fantasy Fan Fellas wherever you get your podcasts.
Hello, and welcome to the Psych Legal Pop Podcast. This is a podcast where we talk about popular culture through the lens of an attorney and a therapist. I'm Brooke Brigham. I'm the attorney.
And I'm Tess Brigham. I'm the therapist.
So this is our Sister Wives Rewind. We are on season 5, episode 7. This is the Polygamist Pilgrimage into the Past.
Ooh.
And yes. Very interesting. Just want to also remind you that we are covering season 18 of Sister Wives currently. Those episodes drop on Monday and our rewind drops on Tuesday. So please, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the podcast so you can get both of those in a timely manner. And so let's get started with
a pilgrimage,
to
the past.
Yes. Now, the Browns are going on another road trip, 1,600 miles. They think they can do it in 3 days. I think it ended up taking a little bit longer. They're going to Nauvoo, Illinois.
Good times.
Yes.
I mean, who wouldn't want to go to Nauvoo, Illinois?
The kids, they announced to the kids they're going on this trip, and all the teens just, McKelty put like her fingers to her head like she was shooting herself. I mean, they are all just like, oh shit. Was there one?
They want to go to California. They're like, can the teens go to California?
And two of them did. Oh, Logan and Hunter got lucky for them.
Yes.
Got to stay home because Hunter was going to a football camp, and I'm not quite sure what Logan's excuse was. He had stuff
Logan
to do.
had stuff to do.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why, remember, Logan had to go paint those houses for the
He's
thing.
like, I've done my
he was like, listen, I'll
duty.
paint these houses.
Yeah.
I'll go to Utah and paint these houses,
But
but I'm not
not
going to Nauvoo.
No.
I'm going to tell you that right now. I'm 18 and you can't make me.
No.
So.
And the reason for going to Nauvoo is because this is where the LDS church started. And Cody says it's like their Jerusalem.
Yes.
This is where Joseph Smith...
he introduced plural marriage into their faith.
Yes.
And it led to his death.
Yes. It's very dramatic.
Yes.
Got a real history lesson here.
Yes.
But I love the first scene. It's Logan's birthday. And he's tearing up a bunch of mock tapioca pudding.
That was his gift.
That Christine made him for his birthday. So then we, and of course,
do you know Tara's going?
Oh yeah, I was going to say.
Oh, okay.
Robin's sister Tara is coming because Robin cannot, even with all the wives and everybody together, she cannot take care of her children alone without at least one nanny.
Yes, without her coming along.
Yeah. So Mary is loading the RV, of course.
Yes, they're all, so I guess they've got this tight schedule. Yes.
Yeah, and so I guess Robin and Christine are going to be staying in hotels because they have the young kids. And Janelle and Mary are staying in the RVs. They have 2 RVs. And, Janelle likes an RV.
Oh, God. Yes, Janelle likes an RV.
And, Mary, she basically get the RV to herself, probably. So,
but first, they have to stop in St. George to go to the owner to a family pond. This guy, Chris Blockham, where he's the owner of Hiram Smith's home in Nauvoo. And that's the house that the Brown family is staying in. So they have to pick up the keys.
Oh, God, this is so weird. So is Hiram Smith like the son of
No,
Joseph
he is the
Smith?
brother,
of
Joseph Smith. So they're the best friend. They're like best friends or something, and brothers.
Well, and I think this pawn shop guy, I think in later episodes,
we see him. Then he shows up in Nauvoo, and I'm like, well, then that was so weird. It was like, then we see him in Nauvoo, and I'm like, okay, number one, why didn't you just if you're going to be in Nauvoo, why don't you just give him the keys when you get there? And then also, how did you get to Nauvoo before the Browns did?
They probably flew. They were on the road for like 4 days.
I know, but I was just like, okay, so then why meet at that pawn shop?
I don't know.
It was so weird.
Well, and also later when McKelty goes to college, she goes to college in St. George and she works at this pawn shop. And this family, Chris and his family, are sort of like her, I don't know, like her point of contact there. And they're watching out for her. Anyway. So, is this so is this where they're looking at this picture of Brigham Young?
Yes.
And so Brigham Young was responsible for moving the LDS followers from Illinois to Salt Lake City.
Yes.
And I don't know, did you ever get this?
Oh, God. I know exactly what you're going to say.
So our last name is Brigham. People would always ask us, are you Mormon? Are you related to Brigham Young? And it's like, no, that is his first name.
Well, because I would say people could not get the name Brigham. Because it's Brigham. And so people would say Brigham.
Or Brigham.
Yeah.
Put an N in there.
They would want to put an N in there. Brigham. And or UM. And I would say, no, Brigham spelled like Brigham Young. And you would use that as a reference because people out in California would know that because, Utah is pretty close to California-ish. And so you would say like Brigham Young. And people go, oh, you Mormon. And it's like, no. Brigham's his first name. Yeah. And I don't understand why people, number one, I don't understand why people have such a hard time with Brigham. I've never understood it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's like, no, it's his first name. And Brigham is a very common name. And the other thing is on the East Coast, people got it much more because Brigham's a much more common name on the East Coast.
Yeah, it's a very common English surname. And the people who founded the Boston area.
Yeah, Brigham and Women's Hospital. Yeah. There's Brigham Circle. There's Brigham, there's a lot of Brighams. I think our ancestors, maybe, I guess.
Oh, yeah. We have ancestors who owned
Brigham's ice cream.
Owned like a lot of land in Boston and that area. And it was a big family.
But that always irritated me. Like, oh, are you Mormon? Or are you this? Are you that? And yeah, just the fact that they could not get the name right always seemed odd to me. But yes, but I didn't know this about Brigham Young at all, that he was. So I guess when Joseph Smith died, Brigham Young took over and he's the one that brought it here. I was like, oh, I'm learning a lot here in this little.
Got a little history lesson.
But I guess Cody apparently looks like Brigham Young.
Oh, he thinks he does.
He thinks he does, but they're all debating whether or not Brigham, and it's so weird, they're all calling him Brigham, whether or not he's handsome or not. Or I think it's just so funny how all 4 of those women think he's so hot.
Yeah.
Or I don't know, Janelle never says anything about it, but definitely Mary and Christine and Robin think he's just so cute.
Yeah. No. Well, I mean, if you just saw him on the street or, whatever, you'd look at him and, I mean, he's a objectively attractive person, the symmetry of the face and, I don't know, you know what I mean? I
think if he shaved his head, I think he'd look a lot better with a shaved head. Personally, myself, I do.
Yeah, he's not unattractive. But the minute he opens his mouth, you know, it's like, oh, no.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, he's not bad looking. And when you look at, well, now I think he is. But when you look at the pictures of him, you know, as a teen and a young man,
he's very cute as a teen.
He looks like something out of a Sears catalog or something.
Oh, yeah. The blonde hair. Yeah.
So, yeah, well, you know.
All right. Anyway, so day one, they need to go from Las Vegas to Grand Junction, Colorado, which is 525 miles.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. I was like, so Mary, was it Mary that was saying, or Cody? They were saying, well, normally that would be 8 or 9 hours, but it took them 15 to 16 hours. And so Cody calls for a family meeting.
Oh, but before we get to that, he blames it on all the times they had to stop to have the kids use the bathrooms. But I'm sorry, don't RVs have bathrooms in them?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering about too. Like, these RVs have bathrooms, and I understand the kids need to stop, and like, I can understand if you're all in a car and your kids need to stretch their legs, but aren't all the kids in the RV?
Yeah,
aren't they all
they're all in the RVs.
You have food in there. You can move around and you can go to the bathroom. So other than the driver, and all you really need to do then is
just pull over, use the bathroom.
But even if you can't use let's say you can't use the bathroom on the thing, all you would need to do is get everyone to go to the bathroom, switch out drivers. That really should take 30 minutes max. Max.
Yeah.
I don't understand what's happening here.
That. But anyway, yeah. So Cody calls a family meeting at 11 p.m.
But yeah. And of course, everyone's exhausted and tired and just beyond. So no one's listening to him. And to talk about, we got to get on the road earlier. So their big solution to this problem is to get on the road an hour earlier. That's the thing. It's like, what more time are you going to try to find?
Yeah. Yeah, they have to go 440 miles to Kansas.
From Grand Junction to Goodland, Kansas.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, my God. So it's another long day. What did they call him? Grumpy?
Yeah, because he says he's going to bed at 2-3 in the morning. And it's like, well, why? What are you doing? If it's 11 o'clock, go to bed.
Well, yeah.
Like, why are you staying up till 2 or 3 in the morning doing what?
Yeah, but I think this is some of Cody's issues is that you see him, he gets out, he's like plugging in the RVs and he's like, and I think he's like, I got to go talk to all my wives and I've got to have these family meetings. And it's like, you know what? So why don't you do what you do at home and like delegate these things? Why don't you say, okay, you do this, you do that? It's like, you know why? Logan's not there. Daddy Logan's not there.
Yeah.
I bet you're doing a lot more crapola because Daddy Logan is not there to organize stuff, to keep things running.
Right. And Hunter, they're down two
very important team members.
Yes. Yeah, you're right. So the next day, as they're, wait. So I don't know.
So that's day 2. That's another long day. Nothing happens.
Nothing really happens. So now we're on day 3, where they have to go from Kansas to Missouri, and they're behind schedule. Like, they should have already been there.
Yeah.
But I mean, God, they're going a lot of miles every day. How did they think they were going to go 1,600 miles in 3 days? That's not possible.
Yeah. So they've got 475 miles this day.
And it's very, very windy. And it's kind of scary. Like, the RV is going all over the road, and they had to like pull over. And is this where Cody is... Oh, he's really stressed out.
This is where he comes in and yells at Mary.
He yells at Mary. I don't know why. Mary's like, I'm fine to drive. I don't see who else is going to drive. Nobody else can drive the RV but Mary. So she's just, I don't know why. Cody says he wants to be able to bark orders and have them obeyed.
Yes.
And then he slams the door and storms off, and everyone's just like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Well, yeah, he storms off, and she's there with Robin, and they're like, what just happened?
Yeah.
And then he comes back in, and then he gets upset again. Did he come back into the
I don't remember.
I guess he was so tired, but I guess the whole issue was that he wanted to spend time with each wife. He was like, I need a rotation. I needed a rotation for all my wives and blah, blah, blah. That was like his whole big issue, was that he wanted to spend time with each wife. And I guess because was it Mary? Because she kept driving, he couldn't spend time with her.
Oh God, Cody, this is not the time. You just need to get there.
Yeah.
Get everybody there in one piece in a reasonable time. Why are you worried about all this other stuff?
And both of them are saying, can you just go back there and go take a fucking nap? Like nap, go to sleep, go to bed.
Go to sleep. Like Scary Island.
Yes. It's like, go to sleep, go to bed. God, shut up. Stop eating those jelly beans, Cody, and go to sleep. Yeah. We're done.
Yes. Jeez.
You know, God. So finally, they make it to Topeka, Kansas. This guy, Ron Lessman.
At Truckhenge?
Oh, Truckhenge. I want to know where Ron Lessman was on January 6th.
He's a character.
Ron is a character. Ron was a character. Truckhenge. Oh my God. But this was so funny too, because it was just kind of like you all were obsessed with getting in all these crazy miles, but it was like, let's stop at Truckhenge. Yeah. Like this,
not.
You know, this was the thing. I mean, it seemed like it was a big hit with everybody. The kids loved it, and I'm glad.
Well, they're just happy to get out of the RV.
Yeah, but it was like, okay, so wait a second. Do you only have like a week for this vacation? Like, it seemed like it was summertime. Why? You're going across the country in these RVs. Like, why do you have to get there so quickly? Why?
Yeah.
Like, why can't you stop?
It's not like you have jobs to come back to.
I mean, you're all doing the same thing.
Yeah.
This job. So why can't you
spread it out?
Yeah. Why can't you take a whole week to get there? Why can't you do 200 miles in a day? You know, why can't you I stop at places and do things along the way? I mean, this is insane.
No idea. It really is. It's just, it's stressing everyone out. And I can't imagine what it's like for the kids. I mean.
So anyway, this Ron Lessman, he hates the government. And so the government, I guess, I wasn't kind of listening to him completely. I was like fascinated by him. But I guess the government was it the government that told him he had to raise up his trucks? And every time he said, raise up my truck, he flipped them off.
Yeah.
He's flipping them off. So the government told him he had to raise up his trucks. So he had to pick up his trucks. So he had to pick up his truck. So he decided to pick up his truck. So all of his trucks are mounted or cemented halfway into the ground. So it looks like the trucks are all
like they're taking off like for in flight or something.
Yes, like they're gonna
fly away.
Out.
Yeah. He's bizarre. This is bizarre. It's all bizarre.
Yes. So anyway, he was a character, but he pretty much it's fun to go. And then I guess you can spray paint the trucks. You can do lots of fun things. So the kids liked it. But they got into the Pony Express RV park so late that night. So late, like 1 or 2 in the morning or something, I guess.
Yeah, this is where, I guess, and the hotels are 12 miles away. So I guess Cody has to drive half or most of the people to these hotels, drop them off, then has to come back.
So why does he have to do that? And at first I was kind of confused. I'm like, why does he have to do that? Because
they could just go and, you know why? I bet you because it's Robin and Christine who are going to the hotel. Probably neither one of them wants to drive the RV. Because we never see them driving.
Wait a minute,
RV.
but they have a car because Christine's driving her car. Why can't she? Yeah, because so there's 2 RVs and then there's a car because we see Christine in just her van.
Oh, I missed that.
So there is a van. So I don't understand that. And at first I thought, okay, so then maybe it's Robin's night. I got the sense of like, oh, so maybe Cody's upset that he has to then get and go 12 miles to drive.
I don't know. Again,
it was so weird. I was like, why? What is this 12 miles thing? Why is this bothering you so much?
Well, like you were saying, he feels like he has to like control everything, go with them to the hotel, say good night to everybody. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, you can let that go, Cody. Just like try to do the bare minimum to just so you can go to sleep.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and so, yeah, I didn't understand that. I didn't know it was like, is it Robin's night? So you have to go to the hotel? Like, but there is another car there. So I was just like, why can't these two women just go with their babies? Like, all the other kids are fine. Like, camp, sit in the RVs. Everybody knows you've done this. We're now on day 4.
Right.
Like, you all kind of know
You should
what
have a
you're doing
routine
now.
by now.
Yeah, you should have a routine. You should all know what you're doing. And so he goes to, does he go to Mary? He goes to Mary and he says, well, I'm not going to be up early tomorrow. And he storms right up to her and she's just like, okay, why are you telling me? Like, why do you keep taking all this out on me?
He was really uphill. Really bad.
Yeah. And so this is when he had to call on God to help him. Do you remember that? He had to call on God.
Did God answer?
I don't know. I don't know what God told him. I can't remember.
All right. So day 4, this is the last. We're down to the last 250 miles.
I'm exhausted. I can't even tell you. I'm exhausted.
But then they had to make another stop. They stopped in Hannibal, Missouri to go to Mark Twain's boyhood home.
Yes, yes. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
You know what, though? I will say, this really made me think, I think maybe once my son goes off, well, he probably is not going to leave the house, but
well, someday
when he finishes school, when he's able to stay home alone for extended periods of time, I'll say it like that. I want to drive across country because I've never really, like, all of these places that they went to, like, I don't know if I want to go to Nauvoo, but like all of these places, I was like, I've never really seen the middle of this country. I've never driven across country. My husband has.
No, I haven't either.
But I've never really done that. I've never, like, I've seen up and down the Pacific coast.
I've seen both coasts.
I've seen both coasts many times.
Chicago.
I've seen, but I've never really driven across country. And I'm like, I want to see these things. Like, I've never been to Missouri. I've never been to, like, Kansas. I want to see, Utah.
Oh, yeah. No, I think it'd be great to go to, like, is it South Dakota where the, God, why am I blanking on the name of the, where the president's faces are carved? And
I can't think of it.
Mount Rushmore.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, stuff like that.
I've never been to the Grand Canyon.
I've never been to the Grand Canyon.
Mount Rushmore. I just started watching Yellowstone, got on that bandwagon. Montana.
Oh, yeah. I'd love to go to Montana.
Wyoming, I want to go to all these places.
I know.
So,
but I really don't want to drive. I don't want to drive across the country or drive. I don't know. That's a lot. I have a hard time just driving to LA.
Well, I don't want to. I don't want to drive an RV.
Oh no, it's too stressful.
I don't know if I wanted. You know what? That's the other thing too, is I don't really want to have to drive that much each day.
Yeah.
Like, I really kind of want to drive 4 to 5 hours a day.
Well, even 4 to 5 hours is a lot.
And the problem is you can't really get that far.
Right. And then you, if you want to see what's there, then you're going to have to spend at least a day in these places. So now this trip is really long. It would take so long. I just think I'm too old for that. Cause like I said, like it takes just driving to LA takes it out of me.
Well, I think because Steve and I were thinking about doing this trip where we would go to Chicago, because we've never been to Chicago, and there's all these restaurants that he wants to go to Chicago. And then we thought about, like, renting a car and then maybe driving down to Memphis, Tennessee, different areas. So, like, maybe flying to certain areas and then renting a car and driving and doing pockets of places, like maybe just doing it that way, like, flying to Montana and doing pockets,
right?
Or like flying to somewhere near the Grand Canyon and seeing it and then leaving. Like, I think I'm with you on that. I think I need to fly to places and do pockets of places and flying, but the other part of it is there are, these places like Hannibal, Missouri, like, some of these places you really do have to get in a car and drive
There's
across
not an
country.
Airport close by.
Yeah. And you do kind of want to see, like, what does this look like? Like, there are, to get a sense of, certain parts of California too, you kind of have to drive down. You have to, like, drive down the one. You have to drive down,
through the redwoods,
drive through things to see what they really are. And so I do think that you have to drive part of it, but I'm with you. Like, I do not want to be in a car going across the country and then all the way back. I mean, oy vey is mia.
Yeah. No, anyway. At that point, I'd drop the RV off somewhere and fly back. It's like, yeah. No, I know. And there's such a big country with so many things to see, and it's a lot.
Yes,
it's a lot. But
anywho, back to these people.
Back to Mark Twain's house.
Yes.
Now I have a strange, again, some of my strange notes written here. Next to Mark Twain, I have homely Mormon women.
Yes.
This was act of Christian charity to marry one.
Yes.
Now, did Mark Twain say that?
Yes.
Okay.
So the tour guide reads, of course, because they're polygamists, the tour guide reads something that Mark Twain said about polygamists, about how, or Mormons, about how it's an act of Christian charity when he went to Utah, I guess, and saw that Mormon women, that they were so ugly, oh my God, it was an act of service for all these men to marry them.
Wow.
And so Cody then puts his foot in his mouth and he says, yeah, some of them are pretty. And of course they're all like, yeah, your wives. Oh, he's like, oh, no, you're all pretty. I mean, he just puts his foot in his mouth.
Yeah.
So
it didn't go over well.
Anyway, so they finally get to, Cody, of course, is describing it. He's like, you get into Nauvoo, you just get in there, and it's just like,
it's like Nirvana.
Yes. You just kind of walk, you're there, and it's just this little town, and then you make a right, and then you're driving along, and then there's the water in the lake, and then you just turn, and then all of a sudden you see the big church,
the big temple.
Yeah.
And he talked about that. I mean, talked about that temple like it was, like
it was all right.
It was all right. Well, I live a couple miles here from the Mormon temple in the Oakland Hills, which I think is one of the biggest Mormon temples in the country. I mean, it's ginormous. So, which is so weird because this area is probably one of the biggest liberal enclaves.
I don't know anybody who's Mormon.
The country, and right in the smack dab in the middle of it, prime real estate on the top of this hill with a view of the entire bay, is this Mormon temple, and it's fun to go up there at Christmas time. They decorate it, and they'll let anyone come on the grounds and walk around, look at it. Of course, you can't go in the temple, but then they have this visitor center that you can go in, and it's got a lot of like pictures of Jesus on the cross and strange things. And there's people walking around in there with their name tags on, and you're just kind of like, okay, I should probably go. But yeah, the only person I knew personally, I had a friend when I used to work at the Claremont, Heather. She grew up Mormon, and she was real messed up over it. But yeah, I don't really know. I can't think of any other people who I actually know, like in real life, that are Mormon. Do you? Do you know anybody?
No, no one.
Yeah.
No. I can't even think of anybody. No. All right.
Well, anyway,
they finally get to Hiram's house.
Yeah.
And you know what? Robin had goosebumps.
Oh, boy.
And then that guy Chris is there. I'm like, what is he doing here? This is so weird.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I could have given him the keys then.
Yeah. It was just bizarre.
So then we meet their tour guide.
This is day 5.
Yeah. Joseph Johnson, who looks like Jesus, with long hair, but he's in the LDS faith. And, he starts giving a bunch of little, history lessons. He says that Brigham Young told Hiram Smith about polygamy, and Hiram told Joseph. I don't know.
Well, Joseph, so Joseph Smith was commanded by God to take plural wives.
He had 33 wives.
Yes. And so apparently Hiram, so Brigham Young told Hiram that this was going on, that there was plural marriage, and that Joseph is a polygamist. And I guess that that this is when Hiram was like, okay, I guess I have to accept this, I guess, apparently. And that they also learned, which really blew their minds, really blew Robin's mind, that he had 33 wives and that 12 were already married to other men. So, and that they would stay with these other men after they got married, which meant that there were brother husbands.
Oh, the thing that Cody is so, disgusted by, the vulgarity.
The vulgarity of brother husbands. So then they went to Carthage, which is where Joseph Smith was killed at the jail. And so
this whole story,
weird. I was just kind of like, well, you had a reason to. So apparently the Nauvoo Expositor Press, which is a terrible name for a paper, they printed that they started to print some things about Smith that I think Smith didn't like. Right?
Well, weren't they reporting he was a polygamist?
Basically, they were reporting that he was a polygamist.
But wasn't he?
Yes.
So
they were telling the truth. So basically, the Free Press was saying he's a polygamist, and we wasn't like. So basically, the city council, which I take is they say so. He says the city council voted, but it sounds like both Hiram and Joseph were on the city council. Mm-hmm. The city council voted to destroy the press. So, because it was causing problems.
Oh, because it was,
yeah, because it was reporting the truth about you, and you were doing something that apparently was illegal, right? Joseph Smith and Hiram.
It's not a law. I mean, is it? I don't know if it had been polygamy hadn't been outlawed. I mean, this is just a church doctrine. I don't know. I was very confused by this story. I didn't care enough to really go back and figure it out.
Well, but the thing is what the city council did, they voted to destroy the press, but they really destroyed the press. They destroyed the printing press itself. Mm-hmm. Which is against they destroyed property. And so and one of the men watching all of this was the great-great-great-grandfather, William Adams, who was related to Mary.
Yeah.
So Joseph was then ordered to go to court for burning the press and the city council. And as he was leaving the courthouse, I guess all of this created so many problems that he was then he was then arrested for treason.
Treason.
Yeah.
Jeez. Well,
and because there was martial law, I was so confused.
Yeah, this story's crazy, and like I said, I didn't really care enough about it to understand it. But it basically ends up in
and then they take him to then they move to another location. Because this is all told to them outside of the press.
Okay,
room.
So then don't they go to the jail?
Yes, then they go to the jail.
And this is where Robin now pipes in and says that one of her relatives, because there's this guy, John Sullivan Fulmer.
Yes.
And she says, and Sullivan is her stepfather, so whatever. But anyway, she says that that's her great-great-great-grandfather. And this guy was in jail with Joseph Smith.
Well, he was a lawyer. He wasn't in jail.
Oh, he was there visiting.
He wasn't in prison. He was trying to. He sounds like a solicitor.
He was a lawyer trying to help them. Yeah, right. And then she said that Solomon was named for this guy. Mm-hmm. But where do you get Solomon out of John Sullivan Fulmer?
No, the guy's name was John Solomon Fulmer. His middle name is Solomon. It's not Sullivan.
I thought she said Sullivan.
No, it's Solomon Fulmer.
That makes more sense. So, okay, so then Hiram Smith was murdered by who?
So, Wait.
Was Hiram Smith in jail too?
Yes. So they were both put in jail for this treason or for, I don't know if it was for, I still don't understand what they were if they were, I guess they were originally arrested for destroying the press. And then because it created chaos, they were,
they had martial law. Martial law.
And then they were voted because it created all of these problems. They were rearrested again and brought into the jail. And then there was such a mob outside. The mob came in. So they don't even know who exactly shot them. But they first shot Hiram. And then Joseph was executed by the mob. And he was shot. And then his body fell out of the window onto the grass.
Oh, wow. How dramatic.
And then they grabbed him, apparently, and would like beat him to death. Beat him to death outside. But this was the other thing. Of course, Cody says, it helps him see his life in his own perspective. Joseph died for his freedom, and all this kind of stuff. But there was something that happened before that, which is, that there was a museum across the street.
Right.
And they couldn't, but the director of the museum wouldn't let him in because they're polygamists. And so Cody gets on his soapbox and he's like, you know what? I just can't believe they wouldn't let us in. Everyone.
Discrimination.
This discrimination against me. Everyone has a heart and a belief and a hope. And how can I be? And I'm just thinking to myself, and I wrote that down because I'm thinking to myself, oh, really? Just like your daughter, Gwendolyn and Leon. Interesting.
Yeah.
Cody. And so when it's put upon you, Cody, you have a problem with it. But when it's put upon someone else, apparently not.
But also, you're in a faith, again, whatever branch of this thing you're in, the AUB, whatever, that it's all premised on the teachings of Joseph Smith, who was racist, sexist, homophobic, everything. And literally, it's written into this religion. They finally had to, the LDS Church voted to, allow Black people to join the church, not that long ago, maybe 10 or 15 years ago or something. I don't know. But anyway, a Cody with all his stuff about freedom and this and that. What a bunch of bullshit.
Well, the other thing too is that, so many things are coming to mind, but the I don't know. The other problem is that I don't know. We can just move on. I feel like I don't want to.
Yeah. Look, by now we all know what the problems are. We all know Cody very well. And
yes.
It's just okay. So then I guess that's that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That was pretty much the it.
I don't know what their trip home was like.
Yeah, we don't even see the trip home. Either the trip home was incredibly boring or Cody lost his goddamn mind or maybe they were like, you know what?
Maybe they flew them home.
I know. That was my next thought was we're just going to fly these people home.
Yeah.
I was just going to say the whole thing, which I thought was so interesting was, so let me get this straight. Let's just break down this story about Joseph Smith that essentially, Joseph Smith was doing something. The Free Press reported the truth.
Right.
He did not like that.
Because that was not good for his little religion.
That was not good for his image. So he decided to destroy it. Not destroy it.
Burn it down.
Burn it down. Not figuratively or
literally.
Metaphorically, but literally burn it down. And then and then he was arrested, and you all act like, God damn it, he shouldn't have been arrested, or oh God, he was, that's so terrible. It's like, well, no, he started that, you started all this crapola,
right? You
started this. It's a little bit of okay.
So was the angry mob full of people who
were, I guess, pissed because
obviously not affiliated with this
I guess
church?
Not. You would think that
they're just those regular townspeople who are what the hell are you doing? Like,
I guess so.
You come in here and you,
maybe,
start this religion and you start all this stuff. And like, who do you think you are?
I guess so. You would think it would be the other way around. You think the angry mob would have gone in there and killed the other people and brought these two would be their leaders. But I don't know.
Yeah.
The story is very weird.
Well,
and
isn't
vague.
Joseph Smith, okay, is he the one
that found the scrolls in the woods
forest
that one day?
Yeah.
In the wood. Yeah.
And God spoke to him and basically said, okay, here's the rundown. This is the religion.
That's what I kept pausing about earlier because I didn't want.
Yeah, I'm sure this is full of misinformation.
I know, but I just and this is the part that I think is just a little like, really?
I mean, I don't have like 2-3 extra hours to, get all the facts straight.
But all of this is about, this is what the tour guide told him. God spoke to him and told him that he should plural marriage.
Right.
This is what God told him. So this is what this whole thing is based on, that God told him.
Right.
God did.
And then he's just started
and that's how it all started.
Imposing it on this town. And that's why I think that the angry mob with these people in the town who was like, who is this guy who just comes to our town and tries to take over and is doing this, and burning down the press. Yeah. Not okay.
Yeah. So
anyway, wow, what an episode.
Woof, boy, Nauvoo. What a town.
Nauvoo, Illinois. I have no idea like where that is near or...
Yeah, what if where it is in relationship to Chicago or anything?
I don't know. It's probably like right in the middle of the state. Like, looked pretty rural.
Yeah. All right. So let's wrap this sucker up.
Okay, who started this?
You did.
Okay, so again, please subscribe so you can get the Sister Wives Rewind and Sister Wives Season 18 right when they come out. Check us out on social media. We are on Instagram and TikTok at PsychLegalPop. And if you enjoy our podcast, if you could leave us a 5-star rating and review, we would really appreciate it. And I think that's it.
Yeah. If you're new to the podcast, we have lots of episodes. So go check out some. We don't just talk about Sister Wives. Right now, we're mainly talking about Sister Wives, but we've covered, we just finished covering And Just Like That, the second season. And we've talked about a lot of documentaries. We've talked about various people, Britney Spears, Meghan Markle, that's very early on.
Some reality TV.
Yeah, reality TV shows.
Topics, popular cultural topics.
Yes, lots of different things.
Yeah, wide variety.
So, and you're always welcome if you go to social media to let us know some things that you want us to cover. We're going to be covering Sister Wives, this rewind, and the new season for a bit. So I don't think we're going to be adding anything new, but we will definitely be adding some new stuff once this season 18 is over. So.
Yeah. All right. Thanks so much. Hope to see you soon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
This message comes from Jackson. Taxes aren't something you can only think about once a year. With investments, planning for tax day is year-round. Fortunately, Jackson offers tax-efficient products. Visit jackson.com for more information on how our products can make your tax bill a little bit less painful. Jackson is short for Jackson Financial Incorporated, Jackson National Life Insurance Company, Lansing, Michigan, and Jackson National Life Insurance Company of New York, Purchase, New York.
Howdy, howdy, ho, and welcome to Fantasy Fan Fellas. I'm Hayden, producer of the Fantasy Fangirls podcast and your resident lover of all things Sanderson.
And I'm Steven, your bookish internet goofball, but you can call me the Smash Daddy.
And we are currently deep diving Brandon Sanderson's fantasy epic, Mistborn. But here's the catch. Steven here has not read Mistborn before.
That's right, hey. So each week, you'll get my unfiltered, raw reactions to every single chapter.
And along the way, we'll do character deep dives, magic explainers, and Steven will even try to guess what's next. Spoiler alert, he'll be wrong.
Newsflash, I'm never wrong. Episodes come out every Wednesday, and you can find Fantasy Fan Fellows wherever you get your podcasts.